coach told me I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Coach told me I can never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Hey, look, it's never miss a Monday. Wine on Saturday, wine on Sunday. But coach told me I can never miss a Monday.
Good evening. Welcome to the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show with Coach Mike. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this week, just like it is every week here on the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show. And I invite everyone in our audience to get involved. If you're checking us out live on YouTube or live on Facebook, send us a comment. Ask Coach Mike a relevant real estate question, and you never know. Our super producer, Jay Joseph, may very well choose your question to be answered on tonight's show. And as always, I want to thank you in advance for getting involved, interacting, and being a part of the Monday Night Live family. I want to take some time to introduce my co-host. He's not only a highly respected and successful real estate broker, but he is also the co-founder of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us this week on Monday Night Live. And I'd like to introduce to everyone, Mr. Michael G. Davis. How you doing, Coach Mike?
Man, what is going on, Prime Real Estate Rick? It's Monday. It's Real Estate Summit week, man. We are super excited here, man, at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm.
Hey, man, I'm really excited to be here with you, man. Thank you so much for carving some time out of your schedule. For those in our audience who were not aware of the significance of this week, could you let everyone know about the Real Estate Summit and why that has us so excited to introduce that particular event tonight on Monday Night Live?
Absolutely, Rick. Look, we have our Fall Real Estate Expo Summit where we bring so many people together. There's so many resources and programs that are here in the city. What we realized a long time ago, because this is like our fifth annual Real Estate Summit. And we realized a long time ago that there are people that have a desire to want to purchase, right? Or there are sellers that have a desire to want to possibly, put their house on the market. Or maybe you're an investor and you have a desire to where you want to, begin to take advantage of this vehicle called real estate. Maybe you're living in an apartment and you want to go from renting an apartment, leasing an apartment to renting a house. So we realized that there were these people out here, but they were afraid to take action, right? They were frozen by fear. And a lot of it had to do with just not understanding or having the knowledge of what was accessible and what was available to them. So what we decided, Rick, is that we partnered with the church at Bethel's Family, and we began bringing in all these resources. We began bringing resources for buyers, down payment assistance, lender programs. We began bringing in resources for sellers, organizations that can do, they'll fix the property for you and then they'll allow you to pay them on the back end, or staging companies. We begin, contractors. We begin to bring resources in, whether you're on housing or whether you're using a part of the VA. We just start bringing all these resources in. So now when people come to this summit, they're going to be exposed with just a plethora of tools, programs, resources. What it does is it eliminates all the excuses for somebody that does not want to engage in this real estate activity. It's so much opportunity, and there's so many people out there that are qualified. They're in a good position to achieve what it is they want. They just need access to the information, to the programs, to the people, to the relationships. And that's what we do every year during our Fall Real Estate Summit. So we're super excited about it. And it is this week. So we are super excited, Rick.
You mentioned that this is the 5th annual Real Estate Summit hosted by Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. For those in our audience who may have stopped by last year's Real Estate Summit, Coach Mike, could you talk to them about some of the changes in the market that you've seen in 2023 and why this particular Real Estate Summit is so important for everyone in the market who needs this information and education to come out and take advantage of?
No, absolutely, Rick. That's a phenomenal question. The reality is that, and most people know this, the real estate market is always volatile. It's always changing. So this time last year, there are certain programs that, Rick, they're no longer here, Rick. The program people that we invited to the summit last year, we couldn't invite them this year because they don't have the funding no more. Wow. And then vice versa. There are programs that weren't a part of the summit last year, but now they're coming to the summit because it's time for them to be introduced. And these are, and maybe through new relationships that we've had. So every year there's always going to be new, there's always going to be variety. There's always going to be a level of freshness to the summit because the real estate market is always changing, Rick.
You know, the thing about that, and I agree totally, because the things that were available last year may not be available this year. Interest rates that were available last year may not be available this year. And just the climate of homes, their pricing and availability is something that I urge everyone in the audience to stop by the Real Estate Summit, meet with Coach Mike, ask those relevant questions, and actually know what's going on as opposed to hoping or hearing rumor. Let's put fact with what's going on, and so that we can make the most educated decisions we can. So once again, I want to urge everyone, get involved, show up, and show out.
And it's real easy for them, Rick. They go to churchrealestateexpo.com. It doesn't cost anything, right? So this is a service that we put on with our partners, our community partners, with our affiliate groups. We put this on every year because it's just that important to us. So if you're a buyer, right, you'll be able to tap into huge discounts and resources that can be contributed to the purchase of your home, whether you're a first-time home buyer or not. It doesn't matter. Like, a lot of people don't realize, Rick, that there are tools out there for resources out there for people not that have purchased a home, that have owned a home before. They can still get credits and discounts, right? So people will be able to come and take advantage of that. If you, whatever you feel like your circumstances are, whether you feel like you're financially you're not there, whether you feel like credit-wise you're not there, knowledge-wise you're not in a position to purchase a home, it doesn't matter, because we have resources and programs and tools for whatever your situation is. Come out, come connect with these people and come learn. And if you're thinking about selling your property, look, you're going to be in a marketplace full of potential buyers, prospective buyers, as well as some great networking with real estate professionals that can help you take you to the next stage. And again, investors will have resources and tools for those individuals that are, jumping into the wealth building aspect of things. And again, renters, whether you're on housing, whether you're looking for apartments, it doesn't matter, Rick. We got something for everybody at the Real Estate Summit. So come on out, go to the website, make sure you register, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday morning.
Coach Mike, and I want to thank you so much for sharing that information. The great thing about today's episode is that the questions that we're going to address tonight are some of the same similar questions that you'll be addressing at the Real Estate Summit. So if you're there in the audience and you hear a relevant real estate question and you would like to get a little bit more depth or have Coach Mike elaborate more than we're able to do here on Monday Night Live, the Real Estate Summit is for you. Take Coach Mike's advice, register, show up, and you can just pretty much say, Coach Mike, I watched Monday Night Live. I want to see if you go a little bit in depth in some of the questions that you answered on Monday. So that is definitely a thing. We're definitely open for any of those questions. Send the comments out. If you have a comment or a question for this Saturday or later on this week at the expo, send it now. We'll take a note of it and get that answer when we get a chance to meet you. But Coach Mike, man, our super producer, Jay Joseph, has done a great job of gathering up some relevant questions so that we can have a really informative and educational episode. So, Coach Mike, if you're ready, I want to see how you feel about question number 1.
Let's go, baby. It's Monday Night Live. That's what we do.
How you doing? Coach Mike, as a realtor, how do you work with an unrepresented buyer interested in your listing?
Okay. It's a great question. Look, we're here to help people. Period. Right? It's not about a person being represented or not being represented. Now, I feel like it's in everybody's best interest to have representation, right? If I have a listing, obviously I'm representing the seller. So I'm representing the interests of the person, seller. That's my client. That's my person. All right. it's in the best interest of a buyer to have representation, to have somebody to be there to look out for their interests, to make sure that everything's on the up and up, a seasoned professional that knows how to navigate the uncertainties of real estate. That's always the best thing to happen. Mm-hmm. Here's the reality though, Rick. Some people don't want to have representation. They don't, for whatever their reason is. They don't want to work with a realtor. They want to deal directly with the listing agent. And I know there are some brokers out there, they frown upon that, Rick. Some of them don't even allow it, Rick. They force a person to work with another agent in their brokerage firm. They force them to get representation. Some brokers do that. I don't do that, right? Because I feel like a person should have the freedom and the right to choose whoever they want to work with. And if they choose that they don't want to move forward with having representation, then that's their choice. Now, as a professional, there's still a level of care that we have to provide to customers, Rick. Like we can't take advantage of somebody just because they don't have representation, right? We obviously can't give them advice. We can't give them opinions, but we can still guide them and move them in the right direction, which is really in the best interest of our client anyway, especially if our client hired us to sell their property. Well, it's no way for that to happen unless we help this buyer, work with this buyer to get them to a position to where they can buy the house and achieve the goals of our client. So for me, the best way to work with a buyer that's not represented, again, first of all, make sure that it's not something that they want. You know, what I would do, Rick, is I would ask them like, hey, are you sure you don't want to have an agent or you want to have representation? And if they told me, no, I'll just work directly with you. All right, perfect. The second thing is you want to make sure that they understand that even though they're working with me, we don't represent you, right? Because some buyers, they come in and they're like, well, I'll let you represent me too. And it's like, no. Time out. We're not going to use that word, right? I only represent one person. Now I can facilitate the transaction. You know, I can help, right? I can guide you, point you in the right direction so things work out for you. But I'm not going to put you above the interests of my client. I don't represent you, right? So we got to make that clear. The third thing is, Rick, you want to make sure that you do right by people, right? Don't take this as an advantage to win or to beat up on the buyer because they don't, you don't want to take it, like you don't want to be that person, right? You don't know who that person knows. You don't know how many opportunities for referrals that you may be throwing out the window because you did somebody a disservice because you was trying to look like a rock star in front of your listing client. Right. So you don't want to do that. So you want to take advantage of people. I mean, you want to take care of people as they go through this process, as they go through these circumstances and these situations. So the reality, Rick, is that as you just be a professional. You know, if the question is, how do I work with somebody that's not represented by another agent? You be a professional, right? You work with that person. You want what's best for that person. Again, you're not going to put them above the interests of your client. But at the end of the day, it's in the best interest of your client that you successfully and effectively help this person get to a point to where they can purchase your listing. So that's how I approach it, Rick.
No, great answer, Coach Mike. And I would urge everyone in the audience that has a similar question or been in a similar position to heed that advice because it can be a slippery slope. You want to be very careful about using the word represent because, as you said, Coach Mike, it means a lot. Legally and in the real estate realm, that is a very, very important word. You cannot represent anyone without you having something in writing saying that you do represent them. And that's the main thing that Coach Mike is trying to illustrate. So let's make sure we're professional. We are doing right by our fiduciary responsibilities to our clients. And if someone does not have representation, let them know they have the right to get representation. Or they have the right to work with you without representation. So from that standpoint, Coach Mike, I appreciate giving that advice because sometimes, especially when you're new in the industry, encountering that particular scenario, even though on its surface it seems pretty straightforward, sometimes it can cause people to have some questions about what they should or should not do, what is proper and what is improper. So absolutely. Appreciate you for sharing that advice with us, Coach Mike.
No, absolutely, Rick. That's what I'm here for, baby. On Mondays.
Hey, look, and if you are a new agent, do not feel as if the Real Estate Summit's not for you. New agents, aspiring agents, those that are studying towards their real estate license, If you would like to meet, greet, and interact with Coach Mike or myself in person, the Real Estate Summit this week is a great place to initiate that networking and facilitate those meetings. So come out, man. And that's going to be the theme of tonight's show is come out, register, meet, greet, and be seen. Hey,
yes,
look,
sir.
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, let's see what we have as far as our second question, Coach Mike, because after the first question, I have really great expectations for the level of questions and answers we're going to get on tonight's show. We got question number 2. Coach Mike, what strategies can I use to collaborate with real estate developers and builders for new projects?
Okay, all right. That is a good one, man. You know that the audience is coming with it today, Rick. They're coming with it. So, you know, strategies. I think, you know what? I think the best strategy, Rick, and this really works with anybody, is you need to bring value. You need to bring something of value to the table, whether it's a builder or whether it's a developer. But here's the thing about developers, Rick. They make their money by getting land, taking that land, and then cutting the land or proportioning that land to be able to either sell to builders or sell to commercial property. You know, they develop that land by putting in the roads, putting in the utilities, platting the land, making sure it's cut and leveled, right? And then they sell those properties to say builders. Well, if that's what a developer does, and if that's how a developer makes his money, then what could be more valuable to a developer than land, right? You go out there and you bring to the table some land that that could be of good use, of good value to what they're doing. Well, for you to be able to do that, though, Rick, you're going to have to get an understanding of what it is that they look for. What's their criteria? You know, what's their desires, right? Now, here's the thing that most people don't want to hear, Rick. You got to do all that without getting paid, right? Right? You know, you're not going to get no salary. They're not going to pay you to do all of this stuff. So you got to go work for nothing, right? To prove that you're valuable, to put yourself in a position to where you get paid. There's no free lunch out here when it comes to providing value. All right, so now let's talk about builders. Well, at the end of the day, what's important to the builder? They want to move their house. You know, they make their money when they sell the house. Too many agents or realtors going up to builders and they trying to get the listing. Let me list it. Let me list it. Let me list it. And that builder, look, you can imagine how many phone calls, emails, pop buys of realtors, aggressive realtors coming up to them and just like, look, let me list it. Let me market it. I'll do it. Right. At the end of the day, you don't have to have a listing to sell a product. They're a builder. They're selling to everybody. So yeah, go get a buyer. Like we hate hearing that. Like, hey, if you bring me a buyer, I'll pay you. Realtors be like, no, I want, you know, let me get the listing. No, the reality is go find a buyer. Go take the property, go take the information, go put it in your pool, your database, and see who pops up. Right? Bring somebody of opportunity to the builder. You want to get those listings? You want to be in a position where you sell all their properties, then you got to sell some without having the listing. Right? That's what's going to prove to the builder that you know what you're doing. So it really isn't anything fancy or, you know, this isn't rocket science, Rick. It's be valuable. And as you be valuable, then you're going to start putting yourself in positions to where developers and builders, they're going to be crawling over, fighting over themselves to work with you and do business with you because you're going to be having bringing so much value to the table.
And I want to bring this up, Coach Mike, because I agree totally. And to piggyback off the statement you're already making, for those in the audience, one of the ways to be noticed in this industry is to work with builders and bring them clients. The great thing about working with builders is that they tangibly notice every single transaction that they have on the books. They notice who originated it, who is the realtor. And if you bring buyers to a home builder, they will take notice and they will do everything they can to facilitate and continue that prosperous relationship with you as a realtor or as a real estate professional. So take Coach Mike's advice. Before you go out and look to secure a listing, bring a couple of buyers, 3-4 buyers, and you will be shocked. They will offer those type of opportunities to you because you're going to now become one of their power agents, someone that they go to when they have inventory, when they have those expanded and generous BTSAs, because they're going to look at you as a resource to the buying community. So pinpoint a community, learn everything you can about the builder, the area, develop some rapport with the salespeople that are there, and then go to your buyer pool. And that's how you start to build and facilitate those relationships with those corporate builders. So everyone, Coach Mike, thank you so much for sharing, because I think so many members of our audience need to hear that advice from you, because when you don't have someone like a Coach Mike giving you that valuable advice from experience, sometimes in your head you can outthink yourself and start running around in circles and not really get to where you want to go.
Absolutely. And look, the opportunity is huge, Rick. There's not many agents out here that are approaching it from that perspective, right? You know, even thinking about the real estate expo, like there's some builders that we have relationships with. We've seen their product, that we're going to be showcasing their product. They're not paying us to do that. They haven't given us any listings. They haven't done any of that, right? But number one, it's a value, it's a service to the community, to the marketplace, right? And then also it creates goodwill with these builders, knowing that we're out there and we're promoting and pushing their product to, you know, one day put us in a position to where we may see ourselves, them offering us listings or properties for us to be able to show up for them. So, you know, it's a different approach. It's a different mindset to the business. I know it doesn't, I say this all the time, Rick, real estate is not like any other career or any other business. You really don't have anything that you can compare it to. So the closest thing you can compare it to is farming, right? Mm-hmm. And the only reason that's the closest thing you can compare it to is because just like the farmer, you don't reap any results until it's harvest time. Right. But for you to get to harvest, there are all these seeds and all this effort and all this work and energy that you have to do in the front end.
Yes.
That you ain't eating, but you got to keep doing it. And you got to keep putting the activity in to position yourself to be able to eat. That's real estate, right?
Absolutely. In a nutshell, man, I urge everyone, tap in, follow CEO Coach Mike on Instagram, follow myself on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick, because these type of nuggets and tidbits that Coach Mike shares on a regular basis. I urge everyone on YouTube to go to BND TV, hit the subscribe and like button, stay tapped into everything as far as the content that's coming out from Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. And you can also follow the Prime Real Estate Network channel to learn these same type of information and tidbits, because these are the things that's going to make you successful in real estate and help you build a profitable business, not only now, but in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, man, you on the road tonight, Coach Mike. And I want to make sure I remind everyone, Coach Mike will be giving advice like this at the Real Estate Expo, Real Estate Summit. Stop out. And if you feel as if you would want Coach Mike to go a little bit deeper into some of these topics and some of these issues you may be facing in the market, that will be the opportune time to actually meet Coach Mike and ask him those more in-depth questions that we might not be able to cover on the show. But let's see what we have as far as our third question, Coach Mike, because our audience, man, they're on the roll this evening.
Let's do it, man.
Question number 3, Coach Mike, how can I adapt to market changes and challenges in the early stages of a business?
How can I adapt to changes and challenges? Look, man, I always revert back to this quote, right? This is a quote from, Winston Churchill, right? So he was the Prime Minister of England during World War II. One of the darkest moments in human history, World War II, where countries are fighting to that extent. People are dying like that. And, this was right after the Germans had just obliterated London, right? I mean, they had just bombed it, buildings. They got all these bunkers on the ground and everything's just being leveled. So he comes out of the rubbish and he gives a press conference, right? So they want to hear, what are you going to say? And this is prior to the United States even getting into the war. So, France has already fallen. Britain is trying to hold off, right? And while they're trying to get other people to get involved. And he gives this speech, man. Again, one of the darkest moments and darkest hours of human history, British history, whatever. And he gives them 3 letters, Rick. 3 letters. NGU. NGU is what he ends. I believe he begins his speech and he ends it with those 3 letters. NGU. What that means, Rick, is never give up.
Yeah.
That's what he told his population, his constituents in one of the darkest moments. What he told them he said, we're going to fight. We're going to fight them. We're going to fight them on the beaches. We're going to fight them in the cities. We're going to fight them in the bushes, right? We will never give up. And when it comes to adapting to changes and challenges in your business, that has to be the mindset. It's not a choice. And it's too many real estate professionals coming into our industry, Rick, without that mindset. They want it to be perfect. They want it to be handed to them. They want it to be easy, right? And now it's getting to the point, it's somewhat comical now, Rick. Some of the expectations that some of our fellow real estate professionals have and some of the complaints and concerns that they have. It's comical. At the end of the day, if you're going to make it in this business or any business, you got to have a mindset of, I'm going to do whatever it takes as long as it takes. I'm going to fight through it whenever, however, how long. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to tap into my mental capabilities. I'm going to tap into my creativity. I'm going to tap into everything that I got because failure is not an option. Like Winston Churchill said, I got a whole country depending on me.
Come on.
You got everything depending on you. You got people depending on you to make this thing work. There is no room for giving up. So that's how you adapt, Rick.
Yeah.
The reality is that what's a challenge or what's an industry change could be different for everybody. So there is no broad brush that we can paint. There is no one solution. The only constant is change.
It's change.
The reality is that if you're in this business long enough, things are going to shift. You're going to have some challenges. You know, as you grow and you scale, like things are going to pivot. And you have to have the mindset to know that I'm going to keep going and I'm never going to give up. That's the only way that you can adapt in any stage as it relates to this business or any business, Rick. NGU.
No, I want to thank you so much because there's so many members of our audience that need to hear those motivational and inspirational words from you. And it's amazing because, you know, I get direct messages or text messages after Monday Night Live. And there have been several real estate professionals that spoke about how this particular show motivates them, not only because it's a Monday night show, but it's because of how many activities and processes and educational opportunities are provided by Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm every week, and how we talk about and how inclusive we are as far as inviting everyone to partake and edify themselves on the education and all of the things that we offer over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm as far as content on a weekly basis. So Coach Mike, could you just share a little bit about what's going on this week at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, what people can expect from BND TV, and let's see what we could do to give everybody a heartfelt invitation to the Real Estate Summit this week as well.
Absolutely. Well, hey, look, the biggest thing, Rick, Real Estate Summit, baby. Real Estate Summit. Let's go. We need to see you in the building. If you have a real estate need, desire, want to learn more, Rick, I think you said it perfectly. If somebody wants to get deeper into their specific situation, that's the key.
Right.
You know, when you come see us on Saturday, we'll be able to speak into your specific situation and give you immediate solutions. You ain't got to think about it. Right? We can give you specific solutions to whatever you have going on in your real estate situation to help you move to the next level. All of that's happening at the Real Estate Summit. Again, it's a free event. We got stuff for the kids. We have stuff for the youth. We'll have some raffles. We'll have some food, and we'll have great information. We'll have some music. We'll have some fun. We'll have some fellowship. And most importantly, people are going to walk out of there educated.
Right.
We wanted to design it in such a way, Rick, to where it wasn't overwhelming. You know, a lot of people, they'll go to expos or summits and you got all these booths and all this stuff. And man, you walk in there, it's like sensory overload. It's like, man, I don't even know where to start. Because we recognize that, we wanted to create an event. You're going to get guided through the process. It's like an immersive process. You're going to be feeling what it feels like to purchase a home, right? You're gonna be feeling what it feels like to go through the process of getting your house on the market. Right. Because we're gonna have professionals all across the board, and our Brooks and Davis agents are gonna be there to hold your hand, answer your questions, and guide you through the process. It's a phenomenal event, right? Very well thought out. Every year that we've done it, everybody that's participated is just solely impressed how we facilitate and operate this event. You can literally come into this event for an hour, right? 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you can come into it and walk away with more information and more clarity than attending any other event. It's amazing, Rick. It is going to be amazing.
And I want to make sure, Coach Mike, on the heels of what you just mentioned, I want to give one more invitation to those in our audience who may know of someone who may be eligible for down payment assistance or may be interested in learning about how to buy a new home with the assistance of government funds, or someone who may also be taking advantage of the voucher program, who may have found some challenges as far as finding what they would like as far as quality housing, while at the same time being able to take advantage of those vouchers that they qualify for. This Real Estate Summit is for you. If you have an extenuating circumstance, or if your situation is a little bit unique than other people's situations, this is where you get someone, you sit down with professionals where you can talk to them about your specific situation and your specific needs for not only yourself, but your family. So this is why, this is the highlight of the fall portion of the Brooks and Davis Real Estate Educational Social Calendar, is because we love to be able to interact, meet with those in the community who want to learn not only about real estate, but how they can better their and their family's life by investing in real estate and starting to create some of that generational wealth that we know is so important in this country to build and bridge those gaps that we found here in the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely, Rick. Look, people, y'all don't have to overthink it. If it involves real estate, come to the summit, period.
Come on.
Just come. If it involves real estate, don't try to think about it. Don't try to figure it out, right? Come to the real estate, get clarity, get clear, get direction, get guidance, get inspired, right?
Thank you.
Because there's so much opportunity for you and for our community. And we're quitting before we even get started. Right. And we want to do something about that at Brooks and Davis, starting with the Real Estate Summit. Don't overthink it. Come see us. Let us point you in the right direction.
Hey, look, man, Coach Mike, today's episode has been outstanding. I think you've done an outstanding job of not only illustrating the value, but at the same time, motivating those in our audience to register and come out this Saturday, October the 21st, for the Real Estate Summit. So in closing, Coach Mike, do you have any final words or anything that you'd like to share with our audience before we sign off this week and leading into the Real Estate Summit on Saturday?
You know what? No, man, I think, we had a phenomenal show. And I just want to encourage everybody, man. You're hearing a lot of rumblings about the market being bad. And look, forget all that noise. All right. It's a market. And in any market, you're always going to have buyers. You're always going to have sellers. Right. The question you got to ask yourself is, who's the new buyers? Who's the new sellers?
Right.
But they're always going to be there. And then once you identify who those people are, then you have to position yourself to be valuable to those individuals. Be valuable to the marketplace. Be valuable as it relates to transactions happening. Right. And if this isn't your time, right? Whatever the market has maneuvered itself and it's kind of maneuvered you out of it, guess what? It's always a change, and it's gonna come back around, and you're gonna be in a position to where you can do something about it. As get into this business as well. So again, come to the summit. We'll point you in the right direction. We can educate you on what's going on, and you can be a well-educated buyer, seller, renter, investor.
Absolutely, man. Coach Mike, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Once again, I would like to personally invite everyone to the Real Estate Summit. I want to give a big, huge shout out to everybody at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. They've worked tirelessly to bring this event together. I want to give a huge shout out to our super producer, Jay Joseph, over at Milk and Honey Productions, for putting us in the mix and helping us shine on Monday nights. Hey, man, Coach Mike, you did a great job. I want to thank you so much because I know how busy your Monday night schedule is. So thank you so much, sir, for coming out and providing us the luxury of your experience and your real estate wisdom. As always, thank you as well. On behalf of myself, Rick Davis, and CEO Coach Mike, Mr. Michael G. Davis, until next Monday night, everyone out there, we're just a text, email, direct message, or a phone call away. If you need anything in the meantime, between time, please do not be a stranger. And until the next Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show, everyone out there in the audience, please be safe and be blessed.